The Guardian Angels of New York City responding to the horrific crime increases in this past year. 50% increase in murders, over 100% increase in shootings, all the car thefts, all the burglaries, all the problems we've seen in the streets, and we know it'll just get worse as we approach New Year's Eve and New Year's Day itself, because even though, because of the pandemic, the NYPD will have Times Square in lockdown for when the ball drops, we know on the periphery there are going to be a lot of people wandering about. Some coming from house parties in a nearby area where they have a view of the ball. Others who are just going to be roaming in off mass transit. And then all of a sudden they're going to be imbibing, they're going to be drinking, they're going to get raucous, they may lose their masks, be unaware that they no longer have masks on, get into fights and disputes. Typically what happens on New Year's Eve in New York City, except it won't be happening immediately in the center of Times Square. So the Guardian Angels will be on the periphery. And it's not just to make sure there are no fights and disputes, make sure nobody is being taken advantage of or robbed or jostled or pickpocketed, which you know happens every New Year's regardless of the circumstances. And then one of the most important features as part of the pandemic is a lot of people are not going to have their masks. They may have started out the night when they were sane and sober with a mask on or a mask within their personal belongings. Then all of a sudden, as they've been drinking, knocking them back, the mask disappears, they're loud, they're boisterous, they're screaming, maybe they're blowing horns, and they're creating what could be a super spreader situation. So we're going to be working the crowds on the periphery and with groups that are walking up and down, and if they don't have masks, we're going to be giving them masks, courtesy of the Guardian Angels, to make sure that they don't become part of the problem. So public safety first and foremost, maintaining the order that it's needed in the area, because it's not like it was before the lockdown when the cops were very proactive, they're now reactive. And then most importantly, getting out there and about, distributing the masks to make sure that New Year's Eve and New Year's Day does not become a super spreader event, as many of our politicals are assuming and thinking that then all of a sudden the coronavirus positive rates is going to skyrocket. So just another thing of what the Guardian Angels are doing to contribute to the city and the welfare of New York during the pandemic, with our 42-year anniversary before us on February 13th. It's what we do. And if you look behind us, you see black, white, Hispanic, Asian males, females, all working together voluntarily to protect New Yorkers and those who may be venturing into New York City because they either want to see the tree, they want to walk along 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue, or try to spot the ball before it drops or after it drops and enjoy the celebration.